Hello, everyone. This is the Zen God. Welcome to another episode. I had a funny story to share right now. So I'm actually not going to be using my microphone, so my sound might not be the best, but I'm pushing forward anyways. So I actually left my adapter that plugs the microphone at my office at work, and it pissed me off. I'll be real. I was like, fuck, should I even make the video? And once that thought came into my head, I remembered my promise, not to myself, but also to all the viewers. I said, every single night, I'll be publishing a new video. And I honor my word. If I tell myself I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. The same thing, you have to have the same mentality, I think, for investing. If you're going to jump on the ship, stay on the ship. Have a long-term vision. This isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. Only the people that have a long-term vision and honor their word, honor their plan, will ultimately make it at the end. There's going to be ups, there's going to be downs. A lot of people put 500 in and expect 3 weeks later to see a massive return. That's not what this is. If you want that, go gamble on sports. So your word is everything. If you continuously say you're going to do something and you don't do it, you're training your subconscious mind that you don't actually follow through. The more that I have honored my word and I say something, and the more that my universe helps me create it, because it knows no matter what is thrown at me, no matter what obstacle is thrown at me, no matter what hurdles are in front of me, I'm going to find a way around it. And at first, when you start practicing it, the universe will throw you lots of hurdles, will throw you lots of obstacles. But once you get in the habit of every single time you jump over, you jump over, you jump over, eventually the universe will just give up, and just when you say you're going to do something, it just happens naturally. That's some other talk, but okay. So the crypto whale, he's just saying pretty much the same thing. This isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. All these new gamblers chasing quick pump and dump scams aren't going to make it. You need to control your emotions and avoid falling for unnecessary hype and greed. I 100% agree with that. You have to be able to avoid greed, avoid the hype, and stay disciplined, humble, and patient. So you have to have a long-term vision for your plan. Like I said, people that just want to make some quick money, they'll end up selling their XRP at $5, make a quick buck, but they're not going to be here at the end goal. And we know that in the coding, in the actual technology, the developers have developed it to actually work and function as $10,000 per unit. If you don't have a long-term goal, if you don't have control of your emotions, control of your greed, you'll pull your money out as soon as it goes up and buy, let's say, a Tesla, or you'll buy a Lamborghini. But if you would have just been able to have a long-term vision, maybe you could have bought a beach house in Hawaii. So it's all about having that long-term vision, staying true to your plans, honoring your word, and training your subconscious mind. So let's get into this. Michelle Bond posted, "Congratulations to my friend Chris Brummer. This is such fabulous news for the CFTC. The industry investors, I'm rooting for you. We'll stay tuned. Exclusive Georgetown interview. Academics Chris Brummer, the lead of the CFTC." So this is the Commodities Future Trading Commission. So where does this guy ring a bell? You remember, all roads lead to Ripple, or Crypto Mommy says, under every stone is Ripple. So we scroll down, and he has multiple interviews with our main guy.
For our second keynote of the day, I am delighted to welcome Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse to the stage, along with Chris. Prior to Ripple, Brad served as the CEO of the file collaboration service Hightail. From 2009 to 2012, he was president of consumer applications at AOL, and prior to that held previous executive positions at Yahoo from 2003.
So today's, as I had mentioned earlier with Chairman Clayton, pretty big day in Washington. We have Mark Zuckerberg, who has been testifying.
This is a 50-minute video. There's tons of videos with Brad and Chris together. I just want to show you the connection, how this news connects to Ripple and XRP. Pretty exciting, right? Now it gets even more exciting, because when you've been studying XRP and Ripple enough, when you see stuff like this, you remember things in the past that you've witnessed, and then it kind of like connects the dots. So I watched this before, which was a really interesting interview where Brad Garlinghouse is on Fox News, and he mentioned the Digital Commodities Act. And when he mentions it, Fox News actually cut his mic off and cut him off the air. So I think this is really important. We have to look into this commodities position. This could be where our clarity comes from. So this is about a 6-minute clip, but I think it's really important. So let's dive into the full clip.
Have you this morning. Thanks very much for joining us. So you're saying you want a system in the United States where you actually see cryptocurrency and a structure for it. Explain the issue that you're referring to on Twitter, Brad.
Good morning, Maria. Thanks for having me. I think what the world should really understand, certainly here in the United States, is that we are in a race with China. I think as we look back 3 or 4 years ago, there was a race around 5G networks. And I think if we look back in time today, we're going to find that we're at risk of making the same mistake again. And the mistake this time isn't about telecommunications networks and wireless networks. It's about global financial infrastructure. It's about global payments. Even this morning, I saw a new headline about how China is leaving others in the dust. I think in the race we're in, many countries are just in the process of getting a learner's permit. So for Ripple, we are looking at how do we make sure we can compete on a level playing field. And unfortunately, here in the U.S.
He just said a level playing field. We've heard that so much, but I wanted to point this out. Look at the subconscious programming they're doing on the TV. They're showing it's going down, it's negative. It's only 0.76 down, but they have to put it in your face. Hey, it's going down. It's only 26 cents. It's like subconsciously telling you this isn't a good investment. But he also just mentioned level playing field. So let's rewind that back. We know all the top players use that term.
We make sure we can compete on a level playing field. And unfortunately, here in the U.S., we have some parts of the U.S. government that look at cryptocurrencies one way and others look at it another way. Sometimes it's looked at as a currency or a commodity or maybe a security. And depending on how it's looked at, it's regulated very differently. I think the Chinese Communist Party is being very strategic and is very focused on dominating this technology. I think there's little doubt that today, China is well ahead of where others are around the world. And I think we have to decide as a country, and really the rest of the globe, how we want to respond to that.
And I suspect because we don't have a proper structural framework, regulatory framework in place, the broad public has questions about it. So how do you trust something that there's really not a regulatory framework around?
That really is the problem. And it's kind of, for a company like Ripple, who is certainly, I'm a proud U.S. citizen. I grew up in Kansas and certainly want to remain here in the United States. But even last week, there was a report that came out of the Department of Justice that was talking about cryptocurrencies, and it listed 8 separate U.S. regulatory bodies, each of them with a slightly different view on crypto. Some thought it's a property. The IRS looks at it in one way. The CFTC looks at it another way. And I think really what we're seeing is the U.S. is out of sync with what a lot of other countries, G20 markets, are doing. Countries like the UK, as you mentioned up top, Singapore, Japan, even the UAE and Switzerland. These are all really good examples where there's a clear regulatory framework that's allowing for a healthy market to develop. I moved to Silicon Valley 20 plus years ago when the internet as we know it today was being born. And part of the success in the United States around the internet was because there was clarity for companies to invest. And there's a very level playing field for investment to flow into the internet as we know it today. As we think about the next version of the internet around global cryptocurrencies, global financial infrastructure, if there's a disincentive to invest here in the United States, it will go elsewhere. And certainly where we've seen some examples of US regulators actually advantaging Chinese technologies, that's the real kind of like conundrum we're in, is that if the US government's doing things to advantage a Chinese technology at the disadvantage to a company like Ripple and others like Ripple, then that's a really frustrating place to be. And that's why we have taken the step to look at, should we relocate the company to a country where it is clear?
I think you're making really important points, Brad. I'm glad you're getting this into the conversation. Let me bring in Bob Nardelli here. Bob, go ahead.
Hey, Brad. Again, as a fellow CEO, I can hear the passion in your voice, and I understand your frustration. But at a time when we're trying to do more onshoring, I would hope that, I think you would realize that we're in a very unique situation here with the pandemic. We're trying to get the Supreme Court. We've got an election. I remember vividly being on Maria's show when we were talking about blockchain and cryptocurrency, and it was at the top of the stack of discussion. So I just wonder if there's a pause that you could take to, remedy some of the concerns you had. How do you feel about that? I mean, is there a way for you and your colleagues to unite to try to get more attention on this and get it organized, as Maria points out, please?
Absolutely. And look, the reason why I am out talking about this, as Maria pointed out, we want there to be awareness around this, because I think my experience has been when people understand the issue, then they're like, oh, okay, wait a minute. We didn't mean to create that dynamic where we're advantaging a Chinese technology over US companies. And so there is momentum around this on Capitol Hill. Actually, just recently, there's a new framework introduced. It's called the Digital Commodity Exchange Act that was introduced in Congress in, I believe, the Ag Committee, and there's bipartisan support.
They cut his mic off.
Yep. You don't want to cede all of this innovation to China. Brad, you make a very important point. I'm glad there's at least the beginning of it in Congress. We'll keep talking about this, and please come back soon. Brad Garlinghouse joining us there.
Brought the Digital Commodities Exchange Act, and then they cut his mic off. She goes, "Oh, you don't want to lose this to China." She started putting words in his mouth. Rewatch that.
Yep.
It's called the Digital Commodity Exchange Act that was introduced in Congress in, I believe, the Ag Committee, and there's bipartisan support.
Cut his mic off. XRP, the world's most hidden secret. They don't want people to know, because if people knew that this Digital Commodities Exchange Act was positive for Ripple and XRP, they would know once it passed, it's going to skyrocket. So they don't want the normal people to know that this is going to be a good investment. That's why they're showing it to you right now in the red. And he brings up a lot of good points. So before the SEC came in with this lawsuit, Brad Garlinghouse was going on like a national TV campaign expressing his frustration with no regulatory clarity. After he'd done a few interviews, next thing you know, the SEC comes with the lawsuit on the night before Jay Clayton stepped down. And I believe it's called regulation through enforcement. And a lot of times, this is like the bad way about it, but at the end of the day, we're still going to get the regulatory clarity that we want. A lawsuit's just causing a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt. It's called FUD. Hester Pierce, one of the SEC ladies, have already came out and said that we shouldn't have done it this way. We shouldn't have done regulatory clarity through enforcement. There's easier ways. So that reminded me of that Twitter post that we were just seeing with Chris Brummer joining the Commodity Future Trading Commission. So the Commodity Future Trading Commission sounds familiar. So I know you guys have heard me say that XRP is this big secret. I thought I would share with you more proof. So you're going to learn about this guy named Glenn Hutchins. This guy's a powerhouse. I don't even need to bring up his background to you guys, because I'm going to show you a video that's going to tell you everything this guy has been doing. And he's going to break down the XRP protocol, the interledger protocol. But he accidentally slipped and goes XR Ripple. He accidentally slipped XR, but you want to say Ripple because he doesn't want people to know about XRP. So this is only a 3-minute video. Let's get this one done.
No stranger to power. He's a private equity pioneer, a former presidential economic advisor, and a Federal Reserve board member. He's also part owner of the Boston Celtics. A first big splash was in 1999 when he co-founded private equity firm Silver Lake Partners. Today, his former company has $45 billion under management with investments in Tesla, Dell, Alibaba, along with other tech giants. Hutchins has turned his attention to the world of fintech, along with many other projects, and he shares his story with me now. Crypto. another one of your interests, and,
Right.
and you've kind of gotten into that, but we've just seen a huge meltdown over the past 12, 15 months. Are you still a believer?
So if we'd been sitting here together in 2002, we probably were. You would have asked me, the internet. We've just seen this huge meltdown in the last 12 to 15 months. Are you still a believer? Right?
Yep.
And so the answer is yes. Now the digital currency solution is the most important technological advance I've seen since the internet. It has the capacity to do lots more, but it certainly has the capacity to enable us to move anything of value around the world at the speed of light at no cost. It has three components. It has a token of value, which is called the Bitcoin. It has a accounting mechanism, which is called the blockchain. But the most important piece, which is one that people aren't focusing on, is the protocol.
You secretly talking about the interledger protocol. I've done past videos on that.
Underlying protocol by which we agree to conduct these transactions. So you use a series of protocols every day, and you don't even think about them. You don't think about the internet protocol. You don't think about the simple mail technology protocol. You don't think about the file transfer protocol. You don't think about the high text translation protocol. I go through them, right? You just make use of the technology, and the protocols make it work. The people who really understand what's going on with digital currencies understand that putting these protocols in place, the blockchain protocol, the Ethereum protocol, the Ripple protocol, the Ripple protocol, the Ripple protocol, and then enabling those protocols to cause transactions to occur. And then those transactions can be defined very broadly as not just moving things of value, but anything that's got an information content is extraordinarily transformative. The focus on the value of the token is distracting and uninformative.
That's what I got. That's you just said probably the most important information I could say. Stop caring about the price. We're investing into the technology. We're investing into the utility, the use case, what we see in the future. We're not investing into it right now. If you're focused on the price, you're gonna drive yourself crazy. Okay? You're gonna drive yourself crazy. We haven't entered the digital age. Once we enter the digital age, that's when XRP is useful. So we're placing our bets for the future. He just said it right here. That's enough proof. Ripple protocol. He's talking about moving asset-backed, moving value. That's what XRP and XLM Stellar, that's their whole use case. Okay, so I thought that was a great video, and he has an amazing background. I think this guy knows what's coming. He's a power player. Okay, well, let's go over to Stellar real quick. Stellar is an open network for storing and moving value. Doesn't that sound very familiar? It's the Stellar XLM. We haven't done any talk on that. I'm a big fan of Stellar and XLM. I have both. But there's a lot of different things we go over. Japan rallies behind XRP as Ripple faces U.S. litigation. So Japan has really came out and supported XRP and letting America know, hey, no matter what you guys are doing, we're moving forward. We're using XRP. They're partnered with SBI in Japan. If you know SBI, it's a major, major company. So Japan's planning on moving forward. If you notice, Warren Buffett, past few months, put a lot of his investments into Japan. Japan's going to be very successful with the use case of XRP. Fairly clear, XRP is not a security. Ex-head of SEC New York office. New York is one of the strictest areas for regulation. And they said, hey, it's really clear it is not a security. So this wouldn't just be disastrous for XRP, it'd be disastrous for dozens and dozens of crypto ecosystems that went through similar trajectories. A vital part of SEC's remit is the protection of consumers. It's hard to see how judgment rendering XRP essentially is worthless, putting billions of dollars of losses on retail investors who purchase XRP in good faith, which square with that remit. Yeah, so the whole role of SEC is to protect investors. And if you remember before the lawsuit, we were at like 60 cents. A lot of people lost a lot of their investment because of the SEC. They actually went totally against their mission statement, and they look terrible. Everyone's talking crap about them. I don't see this really going on much further. You got to settle because they're looking really bad. So a lot of what we've been talking about when the market crash happens, XRP is like the ark. When everything crashes, XRP is going to come in like the phoenix and save the day, because we have something called on-demand liquidity. So when everything tanks and institutions and banks need to get access to their capital instantly, XRP will be able to flood the system with on-demand liquidity to help pump the markets back up. Trump has a statement that the economy is going to go up like a rocket ship, which brings me into the recent news of SpaceX launches its 17th batch of Starlink internet relay satellites, 17. I'm talking about that number a lot. We're going more down the rabbit hole now. This is where we're getting to the fun stuff. So a lot of people have been saying that our current systems is like pretty much like underground banking. Underground is done in the dark. We're moving it to the stratosphere, almost like where space is. So the quantum financial system is going to be closer to the heavens, a more positive financial system, and it's going to be based in like satellites. And the nodes will be way up in the sky, so that way no person controls them. They're in the sky, and the nodes all connect. Like I said, I'm not that big. I'm trying to. I understand the technology, but it's hard for me to explain it. So a lot of the nodes will actually be on satellites. And that will keep it protected and decentralized even further. And a lot of people are talking about this. I've been watching the Street Fighting Patriot a lot. He's dope. But he even knows about the quantum financial system. So all these different groups are all speculating. The crypto group speculating. The gold and silver group are speculating. They know new system's coming. And none of these groups really talk together. I go and see all the different groups. All the groups are coming to the same conclusion. They're all coming up. There's going to be a new system coming. The doomers even know there's a new system. The doomers are saying, oh, the great reset. There's going to be a new great reset coming. Everybody through their research, no one's connected them all together. A lot of people know there's a quantum financial system coming, but they haven't done enough research to connect XRP, XLM, these digital currencies to it. We're entering the fourth digital revolution, okay? So the Street Fighter Patriot brings it up. Let's see what he says. And this is narrated. I couldn't find this exactly. It probably got taken down on YouTube. So this is narrated by the digital asset investor. He is not a follower of the 17, so he's a little bit criticizes some of the things he says, but just ignore it and keep listening.
I wanted you to just listen to this. And again, even in this clip, I don't agree with everything, but just listen to the clip. You decide for yourself. I just thought a lot of the things he says in here sound really interesting.
There will be a process for you folks, and you'll learn how to be able to make this transition into the new system of currency, and there will be a window to be able to do all of that. Anyways, so the bottom line, folks, is this, okay? The bottom line is the new quantum financial system will end all corrupt central banking. All that stuff stops. There's going to be a new global network for the transfer of these asset-backed funds. And in this network, okay, it's going to now push out the global SWIFT system of transferring money, which means when you're if you want to pay for something overseas, it's not.
Which technology is competing with SWIFT? We know this, XRP. He probably hasn't, he's focused and his research is in another world, so he hasn't been able to connect those dots. That is XRP. And he also kind of mentioned the thing about the satellites.
Easy, right? The SWIFT system takes your money, puts it into banks' accounts, and they're leveraging it for sometimes 12 days before it's made available to the other side, because they're using your money to leverage to make money. When it happens in the United States, when you're transferring money, same thing. They'll sit on it for a week. You don't get it. All the bullshit like that the banking system put in place, and they've made us believe, hey, that's okay. It's part of the process. No, it's criminal. It's always been criminal. It's your money. They're playing with it, and they're using it to steal money from other people on the planet in terms of interest. All that goes away. This whole system, okay, this quantum system is going to run on orbiting satellite technology all over the planet. They're already in place, and they're protected, and they're going to be there's an overwatch from the secret space programs that I've talked about.
He's describing an intergalactic currency.
These are higher level. I got to make sure I say things that people don't run away with and try to throw the whole message out the window. Let's just say there's higher forms of intelligence that are ensuring the protection and safety of this system, because there are benevolent
no idea what he's talking about there.
More powerful than us, that are in play and at work, that are helping free humanity from this satanic run planet.
Don't know what he's talking about there.
The purpose of this puts an end to corruption. Okay, banks will no longer gain significant, massive profits because they're irrelevant. Your bank will be in your hands. The need to take whatever's in your hands and transfer it to pay for things, again, all backed by a digital certificate tied to the gold stores in that country and the country's national net worth. It's all tied to it. There's no making up anymore. It's a signature tied to this value, this gold. That never changes, which means the value of your money will now be, it'll be stable. There'll be no more economic ups and downs. There'll be no downturns that they create to steal all of your stuff, all of your assets, your businesses, your house, your wealth that you've saved up. All that stuff they wipe out when they're ready to take all your shit, let it plummet, take it from you, buy it for nothing, and then beef it up and sell it to you at a high price again, and do this over and over and over, and all these market crashes. All of it is all perpetuated by these criminals. Comes to an end. The drug business, the human trafficking, trying to, money for all that. All the money, all the US dollars,
all the money,
any of the cash that's outside of the quantum financial realm is completely irrelevant. It's worth nothing. If it's fraudulent cash dollars, which is run by the criminals.
Now, this is something interesting you just brought up, because this is one thing I've said for a long time on this channel. I've always thought digital assets were created. If you think about it, if the US dollar is digitized and they say, hey, you've got to turn in all of your dollars, what does that do to the criminals that are in the money laundering business, the people that are sitting on hoards of cash? All of a sudden, what do they do? And I've always thought that that's part of the reason that this was all created, was to force criminals, their money to be sucked into the digital system.
Criminals, drugs and money and guns and human trafficking, it's going to be absolutely worthless. There have been 209 nations around the world and territories that have signed on to the quantum financial system. That means there's a number of things that they had to go through to qualify to become part of this. Anybody outside of that hasn't signed it, that's not part of it, they're locked out, which means there's no international global trade, no production means, all those things that cause economies to rise. They're locked out completely.
So anyway, parts of that I agree with, parts of it I don't.
Like I've been saying, I believe this is part of the Trump card. I believe this is part of it. He has already signed the deals. I think this is part of those peace deals that he had. They're all behind him. That's how he was able. That's how he won. Now, after listening to that, does this make a little bit more sense? SpaceX launches 17th batch of Starlink internet relay satellites. That makes a lot more sense now, doesn't it? And then when you look back at Stellar, why are they talking all about the astrology and stars and space on here? Because they're going to be using the Starlink nodes. Stellar makes money better. They could tokenize look, right in front of you. They had gold right. You purchase point gold. It's right in front of your face, guys. They're showing it to you. how do you bring the gold standard back in a modern way? How do you bring the gold standard back in a futuristic way, like Judy Selton said? You tokenize it off a digital asset that's decentralized. Now you can move the value of gold all over the world instantly, speed of light, like he just said. It's right on their website. They show it to you. Most people haven't done the research, they haven't connected all the dots. That's why I'm constantly researching all these different communities, and then I put them all together and it all syncs. Most people say only in their tribe. I'm the gold and silver tribe. Oh, I'm the crypto tribe. Oh, I'm the patriot tribe. I'm in this tribe. If you zoom out, you pick up information from each one, it all connects. We all are coming to the same conclusion. That's how I know I'm on the right path, and we're on the right path. This is massive. I'm just getting excited right now showing you guys this. Okay, I think that is all I had today. We already covered that. So a lot of people ask where I buy gold and silver. The best place, JM Bullion. I want to bring this up for you guys. If you spend $200, you get free shipping. This is where I buy gold and silver. Then let's take a look at the markets, and then we'll be done today. Everything's tanking right now. Down 21% in the last 7 days. XRP is down to 26. Might be a good buying opportunity. But that's why you have a long-term vision. That's why you don't constantly just sit and look at the price. It's not about the price. You're investing into the use case for the future. So me, when I see things like this, I get excited. I'm like, okay, hopefully it keeps going down so I can accumulate more. Because my investments are for a year, 5 years, 10 years from now. They're not for right now. If you're worried about right now, you probably put too much, you overinvest in it. You probably put too much and you're relying on it too much. Don't put anything you're not afraid to lose, because then you're not stressed. You could sleep cozy at night and feel good. So let's keep an eye on the markets. Let's see whether it goes, if it's just a little dip and it bounces back up, or let's see if it continues going down. Okay? So make sure you have your long-term vision. Make sure you know how to hold on for dear life, hodl. And the more research you do, the more videos you watch like this, the more confident you're going to have and the more cozy you'll be with your investment. But this was a great episode. I don't have my mic, so hopefully this comes out smooth. I literally just got off work and I'm still in my work clothes, so I just ran and pushed this out. So remember, same drill, like, comment, subscribe. If you want anything specific in a video, a bunch of people are asking for how-tos. We'll do a live soon on that. But when you put it in the comment section, I'll actually address it. So have a great night and stay cozy.